And good morning, everybody. My name is David Lynch. I am the city manager for the city of Newton Falls, Ohio. And welcome to our regular morning briefing. We have these every single morning until the coronavirus pandemic has passed us by. And you can always tune in to see us on YouTube Live, on Facebook Live, or on Spectrum Channel 1023, your cable provider, and that's live as well. In addition to that, these briefings are being replayed on Spectrum and, of course, are archived on Facebook or on YouTube that you can see anytime. But generally speaking, we'll be on the air to bring you updates about what's happening in Newton Falls every single morning at around 7:30 a.m. We're delighted to do this, but I want to emphasize one other thing, as I do every single morning, and that is that if you hear a conflicting piece of information, please rely on what Amy Acton, the Director of Public Health, is saying during the governor's press conferences every day around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Our goal is to provide you with a local perspective. However, the final authority when it comes to health information is Dr. Acton. You can see her with the governor every day around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, we've had a lot happen, especially during this last Easter weekend. I want to say thanks to Dustin Beach, who provided a beautiful video related to the coloring of our water tower that we were able to do in order to remind folks that it's still the Easter season. So thanks so much to Dustin Beach. That's an outstanding bit of video that he did. I also want to say thanks to Tom Colosimo and the folks over at Be the Newton Falls. They have started this quarantine trash pickup program where they're encouraging people to keep their social distance, but when they're outside, bring a trash bag and pick up some trash you'll find along the way. And that's Be the Newton Falls, and that's the Facebook page that is sponsored by Tom Colosimo and Be the Newton Falls. I also want to remind folks that Amazon is providing some grocery pickups for people that can get on their list. And there's some conflicting information out there. Of course, we want to encourage people to have groceries delivered as opposed to going out. But now Amazon has announced that there is a waiting list. So if you're trying to get your groceries remotely delivered through Amazon, there could be some wait. And I want all our senior citizens to know that, because as you run out of staples, I don't want you to position yourselves to be in a position where you're going hungry. So make sure you contact Amazon and find out about that waiting list so that you're not waiting too long for essentials. Very briefly, I want to talk about Senator Matt Huffman, who is out of Lima, Ohio. He has directed a letter to our governor asking that places of diminished population, that is, less population density, to see if they can be in a position where they can open up again, maybe a little bit earlier than other places. And I understand the logic behind that, but it reminds me of a little video from Shrek. Tom, if you could let that roll for a second.
Are we there yet?
No.
Are we there yet?
Not yet.
Hey, are we there yet?
No.
Well, are we there yet?
No.
Yeah, that video from
there
Shrek
yet.
is just a repeat of what every mom and dad has ever heard from the back seat. The kids are in the back saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" And you constantly have to turn around and say, "Keep your shorts on. Stop being so impatient. We will get there." And that's the message I have for everybody in Newton Falls today. We will get there. But it's important to be patient. We realize so much that we're so excited about the idea of being able to open up our businesses again and being able to go out and do things in a state of normalcy. But we'll never achieve that normalcy if we rush it. So as I used to say to the kids in the back seat, keep your shorts on. We will get there. And one of the persons that's helping us get there is the Director of Health of the Trumbull County Combined Health District. And he's with us on the live line right now. And that's Frank Migliosi from the Department of Health. Good morning, Frank. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. Thank you.
Frank, you have been at the forefront of what's happening in Trumbull County. So can you just give us a little snapshot update of where we stand in Trumbull County in terms of our health condition related to the coronavirus.
Yes, it started here at March the 11th, when we had received our first case. We're now, as of yesterday, approximately 168 cases and over 70 individuals in quarantine, and unfortunately, we have 8 deaths at this point. Upon us receiving our first case, we immediately opened our Department Operations Center. We have been operating on a 7-day work week ever since. Our nursing staff is conducting enhanced surveillance. We communicate every day with our hospital systems, our doctors, and we determine who needs to be tested. We approve those testings and get those tests down to the state lab. Any hospital or doctor is to immediately report any positive case to our health district, and we in turn immediately report that to the Ohio Department of Health. We identify all close contacts to those positive cases, and then we would order sick individuals to isolate if they're not hospitalized, and we'd quarantine individuals who were close contacts to those individuals and provide them with a daily, basically we touch base with them every day to make sure that they're doing fine. And if their condition changes, that we would make arrangements to have those individuals tested then.
Now, Frank,
And we also,
Frank, are you allowed to talk about what communities those cases are coming out of? I don't know what your flexibility is in that regard.
yeah, no, at this time we are not. What we are doing, we are supplying those that have the potential of being exposed, like our first responders, EMS, fire, police, to those individuals at home. We are supplying them with that information, and it would be as they would receive a call, an emergency call, then that responder would be aware of somebody that might be positive at that location or under quarantine.
Sure.
The reason why we can't just disseminate that information is this is health-related information, and it is HIPAA protected. So at this time, we are not releasing names, addresses, or specific number of cases per location. Because in fact, if there's only 1 or 2 cases, and in some communities that's all we do have, it would be very revealing to who that individual may be.
Sure. Frank, what piece of information would you give citizens of Newton Falls if you were in an opportunity to speak to them directly, which of course you can't, but if you had a forum where you could, what piece of information would you convey to them this morning?
Well, it's to abide by the stay-at-home order. That is our best line of defense right now. Until effective treatments are recognized and available, or a vaccine becomes available, the best we have right now is social distancing. So keeping that physical distance of 6 foot is essential. And also is to make sure that we're always washing our hands with hot water and soap. Keep our hands away from our face as much as possible, because the main route of entry into the body is through your eyes, nose, or mouth. So keeping your hands away from your face will help avoid that. Cover your cough whenever you need to cough, and always maintain a 6 foot distance from other individuals. And now in the last week, we've been asking those individuals that have to go out and go shopping, we know that we all need to do that, is to get a cloth mask and wear a cloth mask, because it's almost impossible when you're going through a store to always maintain that 6 foot of distance. And when we're talking about a close contact, not only is it within 6 feet, but it's for a sustained period of time. If someone walks by you, the risk is relatively low. But again, we don't want to take that chance that somebody's not keeping their hands clean and maybe coughing directly into their hands, and then they're coming into close contact with you. Those are the things you have to be concerned with. So a face mask will help that situation as well.
Frank, one of the things that my office has been getting are phone calls and complaints, people saying, oh, I saw so-and-so gathered somewhere within 6 feet of one another. I saw so-and-so violating the social distance requirements. And some of it's been frustrating to me because many of these calls are anonymous, but it's very difficult to enforce on a local level. Have you been getting calls like that?
Yes, in fact, our environmental division is the entity that's conducting the inspections in conjunction with all law enforcement in our county for the social distancing and stay-at-home orders. We average over 30 complaints a day, and we do have a hotline set up, and that number is 330-675-7842, where anybody can anonymously lodge a complaint, and that will trigger an immediate investigation into the matter. And law enforcement has been fantastic in assisting us with assuring compliance with this order.
Well, Frank, I know that's true because my Newton Falls Police Department has done some investigating based on some of these complaints as well. And by the way, for the public, the general number for the health department is 330-675-2590. Now, Frank, I want you to comment a little bit on the editorializing I did towards the beginning of this program. I know that Senator Matt Huffman from Lima has his heart in the right place because he wants to help the economy, and yet I'm trying to project a byword of patience to everybody. Do you agree with that position as relates to these questions?
Yes, I think that is very good information, and I do concur with that. Again, as I had previously stated, without effective treatments and without having a vaccine available, this is our best line of defense to prevent the spread and slow the spread of the coronavirus down. So yes, I do concur with you on that.
All right, Frank, I'm going to get down to the personal level for just a moment here. Being the director of public health for Trumbull County during the coronavirus incident, really has you thrown right into the middle of the eye of the storm. What's life been like for the Director of Public Health since this has come about?
Well,
have you had any sleep, Frank? I'm asking.
No, very, very little. That is one of the things, as you heard me say earlier, how we communicate with the hospitals and doctors. We do receive calls throughout the night, and it is only myself and our nursing director that will take those calls throughout the night.
Is that Sandy Swan? Sandy Swan? Yeah. Well, you two have been a great team, Frank Migliosi and Sandy Swan from the health department. Go ahead. You're talking about the calls from the hospitals.
But we will receive those calls throughout the night to report that they believe they have a suspect case and that we can review it and agree to have that sent to be tested. And so that is a coordinated effort in that process. So very little sleep as we will get calls throughout the night and into early morning hours.
Well, I want to say thank you to you, Frank, and also to Sandy Swan. My office has had calls, and whenever something comes up, I contact either you or Nurse Director Sandy Swan, and you always pick up the phone or you always get back to us either by mail or phone call, and you've been very available to us. And I know I speak on behalf of the municipal leadership from cities all throughout Trumbull County that we appreciate you. We appreciate what you're going through right now, and we appreciate the help that you've been giving us. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, and thank you. You've been very proactive all along, and we appreciate your efforts because this is the magnitude of this is so large that it takes a multi-coordinated effort. And I will say the elected officials have been fantastic in working with us and working with the Emergency Operations Center to have a very focused impact on what we are doing. And it's making a difference. It really is that we have that kind of cooperation.
Well, we appreciate you, Frank, and the whole Department of Health. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Have a peaceful day. And blessings and health to you and your family. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
All right, that was Frank Migliosi, the Director of Public Health for Trumbull County, a guy who's right in the middle of the eye of the hurricane. Well, that brings, again, a close to our broadcast, our morning briefing here in Newton Falls. for the date of April 14th. No, 13th. Oh man, you can tell that I've had some busy times. April 13th. So thanks everybody. I also want to remind you, get over to Director International on First Street in the evenings if you have a reason to be out on essential business when it's dark, because the beautiful icon of the risen Lord is being projected onto the sidewall over there at Director International, just to give a little bit of inspiration on behalf of the community of Newton Falls. Well, that brings to an end another broadcast. As I say at the end of every single one, God bless America and God bless the city of Newton Falls.